work hard in the gym. Your body only deserves the best. ISOJET by Evogen Nutrition, featuring Evozyme technology, ultimate in pure whey isolate.
I signed my deal with Evogen the weekend that I guest posed at his show in Sacramento. So while I was there, it gave HANY a really good up close, this is how I'm looking in this particular day of time. So, immediately right after the show, even like that night, he wanted to go ahead and get right on the ball. Basically told me that you don't really need the size. You need to get bigger, but that's not your primary goal, is overall mass. We're trying to complete the physique. If you add a little bit here and a little bit here and make this more complete, you may only be 5 or 8 pounds heavier, but you're going to look 15 or 20 pounds heavier because everything flows the way that it needs to flow.
I feel like that what we needed to work on was from the top down, we need to create more rear delt, so therefore his delt will be more complete, not only on the side poses, but on back double bicep pose, and also the rear lat spread pose. But we also needed to thicken up his lower lats because he's got a nice small waist, especially from behind. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to build those lower lats up, so therefore he creates depth from the erectors all the way up into the upper lat. Basically focusing on reverse grip, bent over rows. When you're doing your low cable rows, trying to really constantly pause in the middle of your rep. And again, that could be the last 3 to 5 reps. It could be the whole set for a complete set. Doing these different techniques where you're gonna really focus on not using momentum, but really getting those lower lats to fire. That's what we're trying to focus on, as well as doing one-arm dumbbell rows into the hip and bringing the elbow inwards towards his spine so that he can get maximum flexion.
When I was 15, I actually had a very, very minor lat tear. What it did was it put a little bit of fear in me when I would do my pulls. So instead of pulling, with my elbows low and pulling down, because it tore up right on the lower lat area, I would always want to pull up. So essentially in all my row movements, my rhomboids, my traps, my upper back, my upper lats would always take the movement. When I competed as a light heavy in 2010, I really didn't have any lower lats at all. I won in the show based on my structure, my genetics. So at that point, I realized to push my career further, I really have to focus on being 100% and being complete. You can't really have your lower lats too thick. I mean, Dory and Ronnie had the best, but you don't see that very often. That's an area that everybody probably could use some improvement on. The purpose of using this bar is, I told HANY about it. He originally wanted me to make sure I started incorporating a lot more reverse grip. Really, if you look at the dynamics of the body of how you're set up, it really technically doesn't matter if you do reverse grip or overhead. But when you watch a person, this goes for 90% of all people, you watch them go through the motions, is whenever they do a reverse grip and their palms are up, you're more likely you're pulling a lot more downward with your lower lats is what we're trying to target. So whenever I do, if I did palms over on, lat pulls, most likely my elbows are going to kind of come a little bit more back. It's going to end up hitting a little bit more upper back and more trap, upper lats. By putting my elbows reverse grip, I can keep my elbows tucked in. I can keep my shoulder blades down more. It makes it more comfortable for me to pull low. So I can't actually do a regular reverse grip. I can do it, but it's a little counterproductive to me because it hurts my wrist. But if I do the easy bar, which is the cambered bar, well, I said it's a tricep bar. So I wanted to do a close grip, reverse grip, but I can't do the full reverse grip or a straight bar. So this bar actually serves a very good purpose to me. Some gyms have it, some don't. This is my home gym, and while I have the opportunity to use it, I want to utilize it. you know, I wanted a little more variation. The T-barbell, if you look at the angle, I was kind of pulling up, which is going to hit a lot more mid-back. With the rope, I didn't lean forward with it. I kept my back erect the whole time and up. And with the rope, you could actually go a little bit deeper. When you pull back, you can get your hands past your stomach and your waist a little bit. So it gives you a little bit further contraction versus if you use a bar, you have to stop when it comes to your waist. You can't go any further back. So it gives a little bit deeper contraction. The weight-wise, I don't really, it's a very high volume, but I actually consider it, you know, heavier weight for me too. Like the poundage is not what I'm considering heavy. If you notice, like all my reps and stuff are nice, slow, and smooth. If I wanted to put the stack on lat pulls or go to 7 plates on T-bars or 405 on bent, whatever, you know, if I wanted to do it, I could do it. But it's not a matter of going from point A to point B. It's a matter of how you get from point A to point B and doing it smooth and controlled. So I used a lot. To me, the weight was heavy when it's under a controlled motion. So I was doing heavy weight plus high volume. So, you know, people ask, would you rather do volume or would you rather do weight? It's volume and weight together. So it's maximum intensity every workout. So just because the number looks different, you know, I could be doing a set of 6 reps or a set of 20 reps. Either way, that 20 reps is still heavy weight with relation to what I'm doing.